I think what we'll start with actually is the big news here, because a few weeks ago you told us about Indiana Jones has been a flop, hasn't it? I mean, it's done dreadful at the cinema. But one thing that has done quite the opposite, and this has become, is it the biggest grossing film of all time? The Barbie film with over £1 billion.
Yeah. Not quite yet, Gareth. That honour still belongs with James Cameron's Avatar from about 10 years ago. But Barbie is slowly catching up. There are about 50 movies that have made more than $1 billion. We're talking Jurassic Park, we're talking Star Wars, we're talking Toy Story, and we're talking Avatar and Titanic. They all made more than $1 billion. And I think at the moment, I did check this morning, Barbie's about number 12 in the list, but it's still in cinemas. It's still, going way, way up. I think there are a number of reasons for it. And something I do want to emphasize, Gareth, because this happened to a friend of mine. Barbie is not a kid's movie. Please don't anybody. I don't want anybody saying you didn't warn me, Andy. Barbie is an adult movie. It's a movie that we don't have a 12 certificate in this country. We should have a 12 certificate for this film. I don't understand why the British Board of Film Classification have said that children of any age can go and see this. And a friend of mine took some young children to see it, came out absolutely devastated, because look at the certificate, folks: sexual harassment and innuendo. And there were times when I thought I was watching Carry On Barbie. I was watching that.
Wouldn't it be amazing if a clip, Sid James popped out and went and did a line, and then you had Kenneth Williams going, "Oh, matron," or "Oh, Barbie."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would have been. I think that. As an adult, I enjoyed it. I appreciated the fact it's a very feminist film. It's a film about equality. It's got some really good messages. It's very, very funny. I mean, there's an incredible Mickey take of a famous science fiction film right at the beginning. My favorite moment, Gareth, is Margot Robbie as Barbie is learning life lessons. And she says, "So I don't have to be pretty all the time?" At which point the narrator pipes up and says, "Filmmakers, if this is really your message, don't hire Margot Robbie, because she's gorgeous." But it's not a kid's film. But the reason it's doing so well is because both in America and here and in other countries, young children are being allowed to see it. And I think a lot of parents are going in, as my friend did, and seeing taking young children to see the Barbie movie and coming out and realizing actually it wasn't age appropriate to them.
I was about to say, what's made it so phenomenally popular, to the point where I was talking to Fraser the other day, my brother, and he says, "Yep, I've been to see it." And most people, apart from me and Sam and our family, have been to see it.
Okay, so there was an aggressive marketing campaign. All cinemas were supplied with a big Barbie box into which you could stand and have your photo taken. There was this really aggressive marketing campaign with Margot Robbie touring the world, telling everybody it was a family-friendly film, and it was great fun. Secondly, I do think the certificate. I think that the fact that any child can go in and see this as long as you're accompanied by an adult, both in America and here. If it was just a 12 certificate or a 15 certificate, it wouldn't be doing this kind of box office. So it's pulling people in the school holidays, because parents are taking young children to see it, and in some cases regretting it because of some of the humor. And I also think that the soundtrack has contributed, Gareth. We've got Barbie Girl on there, and incredible soundtrack. And I think people post-pandemic just looking for a bit of fun. This is the first really big fun. We've had a few Pixar films, we've had a few Disney films. This is the first film that's really advertised itself as come and let your hair down and have a good laugh. Come and let your hair down and really enjoy yourself after the pandemic, And I think it's a mixture of all of those things. And, as I said, as an adult watching it, I laughed out loud quite a few times. Maybe, okay, so some listeners are thinking, you shouldn't have done that, could Christian listen? It's genuinely funny, but it's not for kids. And yet kids are being allowed in to see it. So there we go. We shall see. It's 12th at the moment in the all-time ranking, behind a couple of Toy Story, Star Wars.
And I guess, presumably, we'll now be having Barbie 2, we'll be having Barbie 3, 4, 5, 6, and it will continue.
And the amazing thing is that Greta Gerwig, who's the director, is the first female director to ever make a film that's earned more than $1 billion at the box office. So this is a triumph for feminists all over the world are rejoicing and throwing parties at the success of this movie for both of those reasons.